Ladies and gentlemen, not all names are created equally. Not all traders are created equally. When we trade certain names, some of them come at a higher risk that nobody likes to talk about. That higher risk doesn't have to come in the form of actual money. That could come into the form of psychological risk. When some traders take too much psychological risk, they are in danger of tilting, where they will keep throwing on trades that they shouldn't over and over again, and they'll have a blowout day doing trades that they know themselves they shouldn't be taking, yet they're taking them anyway. I think these names deserve a little bit of respect. We should at least note them. We should at least talk about them. And over my 13-year career, I've always noticed that there are handfuls of names that have caused a lot of FOMO, a lot of psychological toxicity, a lot of people with their eyes just glued to the name. In fact, it was so much for me that it started to turn me bat-sit crazy. And we're going to go ahead and talk about that. I am Mark Melnick. This is the Newsbeat Show. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are times that we look at a stock, and no matter how hard we try, our eyes are like crazy glued. Do you guys remember the robot chicken introduction? How many of you guys have seen the, the intro scene to Robot Chicken, and they put the little things on the chicken's eyes like this, and they force the chicken to watch the television? All right. There's certain names in the market which do that to you. And there's certain names of which you cannot turn away from. So what I decided to do, ladies and gentlemen, is share some names with you that literally make me not just bat-sit crazy, but like bat-sit crazy. And we're going to talk about that because it's so nice I have to name it twice. And before going through all 10 of the names that I'm about to share you that can increase FOMO and whatnot, I think it's a little fair that you guys know where bat-sit crazy comes from. Well, it used to be back in the day, especially during, I believe it started in, God, if my memory serves me correct, 1200 to around 1500 AD. There would be churches and they would have the big church bells in the top of the church. And there wouldn't be any bats that wanted to go all the way up to the church bell because the bats couldn't stand the noises. So it was said that when you had one of the churches with the huge bell towers on top, that there were no bats there because of their extreme sensitivity to the noise. But what happens is sometimes some of these churches were abandoned. And when they were abandoned, the bats would finally move in. And when they tried to sort of reclaim the abandoned church, they would a lot of times ask if there were bats upstairs. And if there were no bats upstairs, that's where it showed that there was nothing upstairs. And that's how it started out to apply to humans, that they were bat sit crazy and that there was nothing up there. Well, what I am saying is that there are actual names that can drive me and others bat-sit crazy. And over the years, I have collected names and I just said, you know what? It's time for a new acronym. You've heard of the FANG names, the Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, FAANG, FANG. Ooh, it's like a FANG. What a cute acronym. How about we talk about drama names that have caused people psychological toxicity? And tell me what you think about this. I said I'm going to talk about every single name. So we're going to start off with BATSIT equals FOMO plus toxicity. There were two lists of names which I have found cause traders, and I know you Newsbeat people are looking at this listening like, oh my God, Mark nailed it. There are certain names that drive people batshit crazy. So we're going to start off with Beyond. And what Beyond does is, Beyond is one of the most psychologically toxic, drama inducing names. The first time I realized it was a drama inducing name was when it was at just a little over $100, and I put a $200 target on a Newsbeat show video. And that Newsbeat show video was done on June 6, 2019. You could go back and watch it. And I think T3 was deleting a lot of the comments as I came out with a $200 price target on Beyond Meat, and people just went nuts. They went batshit crazy over no reason, over me putting a $200 target. It's stupid. They'll have competition. The this, the that, the this. I heard it all. June 6th, $200 target. Guess what? It actually hit $200 on June 18th, way earlier than I expected. Then it went from $200 down to the 150s here. I came out, I think I put about a $310, $320 target. Excuse me if I'm off by 10 points, higher than it's ever been. And after I did that, it went from 150 all the way up to almost 240, 239.71, and then looked down, never came back, fell hard, and now is putting in a big bull flag. So these names, I mean, I don't think people are paying enough attention to these names. Did you know that Beyond Meat has a bull flag that looks like this? This is one of the most drama inducing names out there. I think I led the number one flamed T3 posts, videos on calling a $200 target on Beyond. And whether I was right or wrong, I'm not even mad. I'm just saying it causes drama. You trading this name can cause psychological toxicity. Has Beyond ever caused you psychological toxicity? Here's a Newsbeat Live member typing in right now. I hate to love Beyond. My worst relationship ever. A cheating girlfriend. I just can't give up. There you go. It drives you batshit crazy. That is exactly my point. It is a name that can drive you crazy. Next, we're going to look at Amazon. And notice the first list tends to cause more toxicity than the second list. So I'm actually doing them in order of psychological toxicity and FOMO. And the next one, of course, is Amazon. And Amazon is a name that really does not have an issue just jumping $120 in a few days. And I'm not even talking about the recent earnings. I'm talking like before then. Yes, I know on the earnings it jumped a lot higher. I mean, this is a name that causes so much psychological toxicity. People love to read this thing all the time. They like to look at it all the time, yet it almost never obeys right away in the direction in which you want it to. Amazon is a name that drives people crazy, gives them psychological toxicity, overtrades. How many of you guys have ever experienced that with Amazon? Dave is like, is Mark talking? Look, he's talking to me. Dave is like, Aiku, you too? See what I mean? Like, is he me, Mr. Melnick? Next is Tesla. Now, Tesla is a name that, I mean, I would probably say probably one of the best reads that you could have gone on Tesla was today in the Newsbeat Live Room. We were buying puts, short, whatever. Some people do different things. I was just nailing the top, nailing the bottom, nailed the short here, nailed the short here, nailed the bottom here. Really good. There was also, this bull flag formation here off the exponential 8. Called the breakout here through 752 today as well. It went to 795. I mean, we were doing so many calls in Tesla today. But it wasn't that I just had a fortunate day where, you know, I was able to call all these solid trades in Tesla. It's that I just couldn't stop looking at it. It was just one of those names that just engulfed my entire focus and made me miss out on other names. And people don't realize when you sit there and you look at a name, It prevents you from looking at other names. I did a whole video on that yesterday on the last Newsbeat show. Check it out. It's important. And when you're sitting there looking at Tesla all day like robot chicken, it will drive you batshit crazy. How many of you guys have suffered psychological toxicity or FOMO, which again, you could just see right here, FOMO and toxicity. How many of you guys have suffered psychological toxicity or FOMO from Tesla? See, I haven't suffered any FOMO because I just guess it took me a while, but after, it's just at the point where it's like I just make so much money in Tesla, like I just don't care anymore. Like, yeah, all right, if I held all my positions, it could have been make millions, and I just don't care. It just doesn't bother me. Hindsight is 2020, and it just never bothers me of how much money I could have made had I held all these positions in Tesla. Called a really sweet bottom though today. All right, next on our list is going to be Shopify. Now, Shopify is one of those names that we called it bullish on our earnings last season, and it worked out beautifully. I think it was right over there, was it? But just talking about this one right here, this is a name that can really move. In early November, it was $282. Yesterday, it was $495. So within pretty much few months, the stock rallied over $200. It is a name that causes toxicity because even when the name does nothing, it does something. For example, on Wednesday, February 5th, yesterday, the stock put in pretty much a $28, $27 range plus with no news, no nothing, just a simple $27 range. And what happens is a lot of these out of the money options and names like this, they move like crazy. Like you could have a $3 out of the money option that all of a sudden is worth like $20 and it's like, huh? That happens just about every single week in Shopify. And as a result, because these huge rewards can come if you read the stock well, this is one of the things that drive traders batshit crazy and they suffer FOMO and toxicity. Next, our favorite one and done today, Twitter. A lot of us caught it. I'll be the first to admit I didn't. I didn't catch this one. Twitter. Now, Twitter is an interesting name because nobody really knows how to classify Twitter. It's the social media platform that never became as hot as Facebook. If you look at a monthly chart in Twitter, this thing has not participated in any all-time high rally. The stock was almost $75 back in December 2013. Fast forward 6 years, 2 months later, and a big gap up on earnings puts it at $38. However, this is a name that does cause a lot of psychological toxicity, a lot of FOMO. How many people have ever suffered psychological toxicity or FOMO for Twitter? And it's a relatively cheap name compared to the others. I mean, I have in the past. It's like one of those names that I try to stay away from, but really nice one and done today. A lot of Newsbeat Live members going long here, just hitting a home run. A lot of Newsbeat Live members ended their day in 4 minutes today. Just crazy. Next, I want to go a little bit more on the secondary list. And these are names that cause drama in their own ways. And believe it or not, one of the worst offenders here, believe it or not, is Teva. But we'll go into that shortly. I want to go over Baba. Now, during the US China trade war, if somebody was watching a Chinese company, it usually tended to be Alibaba. Rarely Baidu, rarely, I don't know, Sina, rarely any of these other Chinese companies. For whatever reason on the world, traders, if they're looking for an individual name, traders gravitated towards Baba, which has astronomically explosive moves. Just to give you an example, the weekend after the coronavirus came out, and Newsbeat Live members bought a bunch of puts on January 24th. I wasn't even that heavy, but still crushed it. Um, on January 27th, Baba hit 199.50. Yesterday it was at 226.70. Baba had no news at all. No news at all. But it rallied 12.5% in a week and 2 days. Rallied 20 points plus, 25 points. It is just one of those names that just give you huge moves, causes huge drama, huge FOMO. Alibaba. We actually called just an absolutely sick bottom today in Alibaba. Right over here is Alibaba. Broke 220 right here. We called it bottoming. Stock rally 2.5 points in 20 minutes, but whatever. That's not the point of this. I'm getting a little. Can you tell Melnick has attention deficit disorder? Okay, so right over here, Bob with an inside candle definitely causes a lot of FOMO, definitely causes a lot of toxicity. And the thing with these names is you sort of have to be careful because the point is whenever you're going to trade these names, your risk for doing something stupid in the future increases. Now, maybe you're one of the traders. Maybe you've done enough stupid things in your life. Maybe you have conquered consistency. Maybe you finally get it after all these years, and maybe you're fine trading it. But for the other 99%, 98, 97% of us, these names do come with additional risk that goes well beyond your P&L. I find it kind of funny when people say, "Oh, well, you could buy here, stop here, take profit here, let your profit ride." People don't talk about the psychological risk that people put within every trade. There is more than just financial risk. I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you that your risk in trade is beyond where your stop loss is, even with slippage, beyond that, and beyond where your take profit target is. I'll prove it to you. If that was all of trading, you would have never tilted in your life. If that was all of trading, you would never be in a trade that you say you shouldn't be in. If that was all of trading, you would never do a stupid trade ever. Now, how many of you guys have done trades, not that you just lost money on or made money on? How many of you traders have done this year at least 5 trades or more that you shouldn't have? Can I get an 11 if you've done 5 trades or more you shouldn't have this year? Okay. And you're I don't, well, hold on, Melnick. I need to look at my results. No, 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 you don't. Can I get a 22 if you've done 20 trades or more this year that you shouldn't have done? A 22 or more. 22 if you've done 20 trades or more you shouldn't have done. Type in 22. Now, you might be sitting there and thinking, well, okay, fine, you got me. I've done trades. And doing trades you shouldn't have, again, has nothing to do with losing or making money. The trades you shouldn't do that you make money on, you just might not realize it. It hasn't bitten you in the behind yet. When you do trades and make money on trades that you shouldn't have, you're playing with borrowed money. You're holding it to give it back at a later date. That's all it is. Next on our list, Apple. Kind of crazy because I really think, we really trade Apple really well in the room. It's one of the names that I do consistently really well in. The other day I crushed it, quick 4 figures in 5 minutes. You know, one of the names we just do really well in overall. However, with the type of moves, nobody wants to believe that Apple should be where it is. In October, in October, 11 to 12 to 1. 4 months ago, this stock was 215 bucks. Today it's $325.22 at the day high. Now, you have to understand the type of moves Apple has. 3 days ago on Monday, today's Thursday, 3 days ago on Monday, Apple was $302.22. Today hit 325. Apple rallied 23 points in 3 days. This stock moves. This stock moves, and it can cause a lot of FOMO and toxicity if you miss out. Be very careful when you trade Apple. Next, TTD. Now, this is a name that I don't trade often. I've done it before, probably. Like, I assume, it's kind of funny when I trade. I couldn't tell you what I traded on Monday off the top of my head, or Tuesday, Wednesday off the top of my head. I couldn't. I'd have to stop and think about it. TTD is a name I don't trade often. But looking at it here, just look at yesterday. The trade desk yesterday put in a $31 range. Day before that, a 27, I'm rounding off, $27 range with nothing. And again, 27, this is not an Amazon. This is a $300 name moving 10% plus. This is this is a stock moving 10% in each direction. Out of the money options explode. These are the ones where you have $2, $3 calls that go to like 15, $20 in a day or two. It's insane. On Monday, this stock was $266. Yesterday, it was almost $313.99. Let's call it $314. I mean, this stock pretty much moved just short of $50 in 2 days. This stock causes a lot of FOMO and toxicity because this stock can move. This stock can really move. And this is not a $5 stock going to $5.50. That doesn't cause as much toxicity as a $260 stock going to $3.10. Definitely one that causes people to go batshit crazy. Next one I find funny is Splunk because again, I mean I've traded it before, I'm sure. I don't remember when, but I can guarantee you I did. Splunk is just one of those other drama names. Again, $7 range yesterday, $7 range the day before. The stock just moves. It's one of those stocks still that just really, moves to the beat of its own drum sort of thing. It just, you know, absolutely volatile, just absolutely volatile name, and in mid-November this thing was 115. Yesterday it was 170. I mean, this is just one of the names that really has had massive movements. And a lot of traders get very flustered trading this. To be in a name like this, you just have to realize you need to be willing to withstand large losses to reap sometimes those large gains if you want to be in it. The next stock on the list is actually kind of funny because this actually might be the number one most FOMO toxic stock in the Newsbeat Live Room ever. Ever. Teva. In the Newsbeat Live Room, we refer to the stock as the stock that shall not be named. We refer to it as the stock that shall not be named. In fact, when we talk about it at all, we actually just refer to it as the stock that shall not be named. We use adjectives like effing Teva, which stands for freaking Teva. I don't think T3's servers have ever had to block out user chat as often as it did when traders are referring to Teva. And this name, while seemingly innocent, it seems innocent. It really seems. Oh, look how cute! It's $12. Aww, can I touch it? Oh, Gucci Gucci goo. Look how cute it is! It's adorable! If Satan himself had to take form in a common stock, it would be Teva Pharmaceuticals. Okay? Just want to make that very clear right now. Yeah. I see the Newsbeat Live Room having Newsbeat Live Room is like typing in like T dash VA. They just can't. They can't even type it in. This stock has caused so much drama, and it has nothing to do with the position I was in. I've actually made a lot of money in my life trading it. I regret every single one of those dollars made. I regret it. Seriously. I regret it because it just wasn't worth it. Making money. Yeah, people in the Newsbeat room, Teva's the devil. Boogie, 2 years ago, I held 2,000 calls in it, which is 200,000 shares, and it ranked on me. I mean, it. I just, I don't even have words. It's almost like, like I'm drinking water here. It's almost like I want to splash like holy water on my screen. I wonder if my monitor would start to sizzle like as I have like Teva up on it. But all kidding aside, I cannot even begin to. I have a guess why, and I do want to mention Teva is on just a really beautiful triangle wedge which looks like it's going to resolve up. And I'm afraid to even say that because I don't even want to look at it tomorrow. You lost deep six figures on it. I am telling you, I don't know why it sometimes just moves on itself. It makes little sense. It follows the news. It doesn't follow the news. It does follow the news. It doesn't follow the news. It follows the market, not follow the market. I cannot really explain why. This is just the most despised stock that I have ever seen in my entire life. Traders are asking me to take it off my screen. I apologize. I'll never do it again. But let's just go on, share with you some levels right over here. Here are tomorrow's algo levels today. Notice I have the FANG names up. Let me know if you guys would prefer, instead of the FANG names, the BATSIT names that drive you BATSIT crazy. However, because I will never bring up Teva on my screen again, the second list would just have to be BATS. Okay? And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what stocks have caused you the most drama. Was it any on my list? Are there stocks that I'm not really looking that you lost or made money on. I don't find that part. It's not about that. Let me know if there's a stock that just every time it just brings out some form of negative emotion from you every time you try to trade it, whether you win or lose. So I definitely would like to know what those stocks are. Again, I will show you the list. Make sure you be very careful if you trade any of these names on these two lists because you do risk going batshit crazy. Slam the like button if you enjoyed this content. There's a link in the description if you're interested in anything that we offer here. Thank you for making the Newsbeat Live Room T3 Live's largest, fastest growing trading room. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Newsbeat Live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.